On a quiet American street, a young East Asian couple sits in their car, staring at a small house with a very big price tag. Emily and Tom did everything they were told. College degrees, full-time jobs, careful savings.
But in 2020,
the listing price feels unreal, nearly $600,000, with a mortgage rate their parents would call unthinkable.
Back in their cramped rental, the American dream feels less like a promise and more like a math problem they keep failing. They track every dollar: income, rent, groceries, student loans, a hard-earned down payment, and now, the number that appears on the screen, over $4,000 a month, doesn't just shock them. It quietly redraws the borders of what their future can be.
Her parents bought a roomy house with one teacher's salary. Emily and Tom work full-time, and still,
For their parents, the American dream came with a modest price tag and a manageable interest rate. One income, one mortgage, For this generation, the same dream now comes wrapped in student debt, higher prices, and a housing market that treats shelter like a speculative asset.
To understand what went wrong, we turn to the numbers and to people like Dr. Marcus Ford, who studies how housing markets can... Before the pandemic, 30-year mortgages in America hovered around 3 to 4%, a historic period of cheap money that helped push prices up. Then came inflation. The Federal Reserve raised rates to cool the economy, and mortgage costs shot up.
Same walls, same roof, same street. But at today's higher rates, the monthly payment can be thousands of dollars more. Trapped between rent and ownership, Emily and Tom discover a cruel irony. Renting feels like throwing money away, but buying now risks drowning in debt. When Tom calls his father for advice, he is not just asking about interest rates. He's asking whether the old rules of adulthood still apply. His father remembers stretching to buy a $120,000 home and feeling nervous. Today, that anxiety looks almost Behind their struggle is a simple but brutal graph. Wages creeping up slowly while home prices rocket away. It's not just interest rates. America hasn't built enough homes in the places where jobs are. Limited supply, strong demand. Materials cost more. Builders struggle to find enough workers, and every new home is more expensive to produce, even before anyone steps inside it. Local rules and zoning laws, often designed to protect neighborhood character, can quietly strangle new housing, especially denser, more affordable options. Over time, houses stopped being just places to live. They became game pieces on a financial board. Assets. At an open house, Emily and Tom finally see their competition up close and realize they're not just bidding against other young families.
we
can offer cash.
Some buyers aren't worried about monthly payments at all. They pay in cash, treating houses like stocks. On the drive home, the silence between them says what neither wants to admit out loud. This game might have started long before they were invited to play. She wonders if they're late, not just to the party, but to an era when a normal people could still buy normal houses on ordinary incomes. Their struggle is not unique. From the United States to Canada, the UK, Australia, and beyond. This is generational inequality. Those who bought homes early ride the wave of rising prices, while those arriving late. Homeownership used to be the ladder into the middle class. Today, that ladder still exists, but the first rung has been quietly lifted out of reach for many. So what do you do when the old dream is too expensive, but letting go of it feels like giving up on adulthood itself?
Emily begins to wonder if the American dream has to look different for them. Less about square footage, more about stability, freedom.
Tom doesn't abandon the idea of owning a home, but he and Emily decide not to sacrifice every other part of their lives just so. Their apartment is still small, the rent still high, and the future still uncertain. But in between the bills and the spreadsheets...
Meanwhile, the bigger question hangs over cities like this one. What do we want a home to be? A basic human need?
When housing policy tilts toward investment returns instead of affordability, someone always pays the price. And it's... In millions of windows like this, young people are quietly renegotiating what success means when the traditional markers... For Emily and Tom, the story doesn't end with a key and a new front door. It ends here, for now, in a rented kitchen that... The crisis in housing is not just about bricks, lumber, and interest rates. It is about how we decide who gets security When a home becomes a financial asset first and a place to live second, the real question is no longer just, can we afford it? If you've ever felt the housing dream slipping farther away, you are not alone. Hit like, share your story in the comments, and subscribe to Economic 8-Bit.